Well, I work as an insurance adjuster. I'm basically self-employed, take care of my own scheduling and that type of thing. I've been doing that for decades now. I've been dealing with the symptoms for 10 plus years, so like that. I started feeling some pain in my legs that I ignored, didn't pay much attention to. And then about 5 years ago, I noticed some tingling in my toes and my feet, which was concerning, but again, I just kind of thought, well, whatever, didn't do anything about it. And it's been here recently that I started getting some pain in my thighs and found that I could hardly walk anymore. If I walked 50 to 100 yards, I would literally have severe pain in the groin area. I couldn't go any further. So when I got to that point, that's when I decided, I've got to do something. And then when it progressed to a point where I literally can't walk anymore, that's when I saw the doctor, and come to find out, what I had been ignoring was something very, very dangerous to my health. And he explained to me that I had a condition known as PAD, which I had no idea what that was. As it turns out, I was suffering from a total 100% blockage. And that was eye-opening to say the least. And the doctor sat down with me and told me various options, but because of the severity of my case, really the only option was a bypass. And he discussed with me the pros and cons. Not every surgery, of course, has its, has things that, that you have to consider and have to weigh. I was somewhat concerned when he brought up the idea of erectile dysfunction, which, that was concerning to me. And he said that, that would be a possible result of surgery. Well, I can remember that first meeting, there was so much information given to me, there was a lot of details, and it was a little bit overwhelming to say the least. So I just decided to say, look, let me just think about this, and talked with a couple of friends. And I don't know, a few days later, I called him back and talked with him some more, had a lot of other questions. And after discussing the details and after getting answers to my questions, I just decided that surgery was not only the best option for me, it just seemed like the only option, and that's why I decided to go that route. When I called the doctor back and we had that second discussion, I expressed my concerns to him, and he said, well, if we don't do anything, the chances are probably 95% that at some point, possibly soon, I'm not even going to be able to walk. And at some point after that, it's possible that I can even lose a leg or both of my legs. So when I weighed that possibility versus a 3 to 5% chance of erectile dysfunction, it was obvious to me the route that I had to go. The surgery went well. I was in the hospital for 5 days, and of course it was a major surgery, so the recovery time was, I was off for about 5 weeks, and I can remember the first day I went back to work. It was like, not only can I walk, but I can walk without pain, and I can walk as far as you can walk if we're having a contest, which we're not, but it was like amazing. And then I'm thinking, why did I wait so long? Why did I put this off? I think I'd been living with the pain for so long that I'd kind of got used to it and forgot what it was like to walk pain-free. But just that first day back, was like, it was just like a new life. It was like the first day of, wow, that's how I felt. Well, in a word, he said I had to stop. If I wanted the surgery to remain successful, if I wanted my health to remain on a positive trend, I had to stop, because if I continued to smoke, at some point, eventually, I'd be facing the same issue again. And that's not anything I wanted to deal with. All that together got me motivated and got me over the hump, I believe. I don't want to return to where I was health-wise. You know, in times past when I gave some thought to stopping, it was just, you know, I don't know how serious I was, but you know, with this situation as it was, I got real serious real quickly. But at the same time, I felt like I needed help. I just didn't think I could do it cold turkey. So the doctors, you know, the medical staff was helpful in providing some information about smoking cessation classes in the community. But I ended up choosing the one here at the hospital. And it was just, it was like 6 weeks of social interaction with others who were dealing with the same problem. It was a support group. It was good, positive information, reminding me of my health concerns and the progress that I would be making. So just that entire 5 or 6 week period where I was getting good information and I was getting good social support. And then of course I'm motivated because I don't want to go back to where I was health-wise. So, you know, those reasons helped me to stop. Really, it terrified me. I mean, just the thought of losing a limb, losing a foot, losing a leg, and especially when I have control over it by just making good health decisions and good exercise decisions and just taking care of my health. It just came down to being that simple for me, and I just couldn't face the idea of losing a leg or a limb. It made those good choices much, not to say they're easy, but it made my effort much, much stronger than it ever had been, and I think that's what got me through it. It was a big factor. I'm self-employed, so I buy my own individual health insurance, and so you know it's expensive, but I pay for it. And I also have a pretty high deductible, just trying to manage the cost. So I had to plan ahead once I realized what route I was taking. They explained to me that I'd probably be off work about 5 weeks, and in my work, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So I had to plan ahead for my deductible. I had to plan ahead for the 5 weeks off that I was going to miss work. And then after the surgery, with with the result and the loss of pain and the ability to walk again and be my old self again, I mean it was certainly well worth the cost and the sacrifices that I had to make to get to where I am now. First of all, don't ignore the symptoms. Don't ignore the pain. Talk to someone. Find out what's going on. My advice would be to talk to a doctor, find out what your situation is, find out what the symptoms mean, find out what your options are. I waited so long that I only had one option in reality. But that would be my advice. The sooner you talk, the sooner you get good information, the sooner you find out what your options are, most likely, the more options you'll have to address the situation. But talk to a doctor, get good information, get all the facts, and then make a decision that's best for you in your particular circumstances. That's what I would recommend.